what do we want to work on? What do we want to have the kids doing? So we used to decide if we were going to do themes based on the seasons. But I learned it had no meaning, no purpose, and it was just to get the paperwork done. So that if someone came and they were monitoring, oh, you had this team meeting, and there's your lesson plan, and it's posted on the wall.
But we never actually sat together and talked about the children in depth as we do now and as we learn to do through the program. So it was a difference. So it was things that maybe I didn't recognize that my co-teacher probably saw, and we were able to have that back and forth, whereas before it was kind of a one-sided view. It wasn't a collective view of the child.
The lesson planning meetings were really helpful, especially there was a form that we got that came with it that was really helpful, because I think sometimes when lesson planning, it can kind of just become thrown together, but the form was very organized, and it really organizes and structures your thinking around being very goal-directed and very intentional. So saying, not just, okay, well, I guess we'll learn about some shapes this week, and I guess we'll throw in some numbers and things. No, like, what are our goals right now? Let's look at the data from our last checkpoint. Wow, our students aren't doing so well in rhyming, so we're gonna need 2 small groups this week on that. Really going backwards, like where are we, where do we need to be? And then backwards from that, what do we need to be doing?
Collaboratively, the teachers and the parent, this one particular child who doesn't necessarily choose fine motor activities, so we noticed that. And so we were able to talk to the parent and kind of get some ideas as to how they do activities at home to kind of work with manipulatives and things like that. So we got the feedback from the parents. We were able to come up with something that was conducive for the child, that would be interesting for the child. And we came up with having the child sign in every morning. So we're not really pulling her out of the activities that she really enjoys throughout the day, but we have a time, which is when she comes in the morning, she could take her coat off and sign herself in. We've met the parents' goal of having her to try to write, because the parent wanted her to do that, and so we've met that goal. We've got her to do the fine motor activity, and we've met the goal.
At all of the different areas in the classroom, we have questions posted up, just at the water table, well, what is inside the water table? How is it moving? Like if it's water, if it's sand, or things like that, or if it's in the block area, what are you constructing? How can you make it more sturdy or more strong? We have our vocabulary wall, which is not for students, it's for teachers and support staff in the room. And those are different vocabulary words, tier 2, more advanced vocabulary words that we want to inject into the day for the kids. And it's helpful to have those up on the wall every week for which ones we want to focus on. Yeah, it's taken a lot of planning to get there, but I think that our language and our open-ended questions, I think it's a lot more rich now in our classroom because of the planning that we did.
Well, the class factors in because we have encouraged our teachers to not only focus on what activities you'll do, but how you'll carry out those activities. They have gained a new understanding on the importance of their interaction with the kids. So it's not just to provide the activity, but to interact with them during those activities to enhance the learning. And so with the class tool, it helps them work on the things they'll say and do during the activities, their interactions with the kids to help support the learning. And so they can focus more on open-ended questions, how they model language, and things of that, developing of concepts, things of that nature, even the environment, positive climate. So all of those things play a role in the lesson planning as well, because if you need to plan for those things also. I see better interactions in the classroom where they once would just go through the areas and they would talk to the kids during the, let's say, choice time when they're doing activities, but now there's more intention behind it and they're planning ahead, so there are more open-ended questions. At the lunch table, you'll hear better conversations with the children. Well, what does mommy cook at home? Things of that nature. So I see a change in the practice and I see more intention. It's not just, let's just make it through the day, but they're really trying to have conversations with the kids and to help them learn and grow. Because some of the children who have been here for quite a while, you see improvement in their language and their development overall. You have some who start off and maybe they don't talk much, and just from the teachers asking questions, they begin to open up. They begin to say more. Or you can even hear a change in their language, the words they're using, the diversity of their vocabulary, just from these changes in the teachers' interactions.
During the program, we were introduced to team planning, and time was allotted for the teachers to sit together and collaborate and talk about the things that we wanted to do in the classroom and talk about the children individually.
The set of the Teaching Strategies Gold Objectives books 1 through 3, the volumes 1 through 3, and we were taught to open the books up. So if I have a child and we're dealing with the social emotional because he's crying or he has some issues with separation, I can open my book and I can say, oh look, this is what's going on. And we can pull from that and put it in this plan. And then we list their individual things that they're doing and build from it so that my team meeting and my lesson plan works. And so we take that form and you're just able to go in and plug it in. And it's so much easier, because before I felt like I was just wrecking my brain, like, oh God, what are we gonna do today? You know, and it's beautiful because I learned that we plug it in and we may not have gotten to it this week, and it's okay for me to go back and repeat it. And then if I set goals and objectives and I got something else out of that, instead of what I planned for, it's okay to repeat it and set the scene so that I can get what it is that I need, so that I can fill in my objectives and they're there for my checkpoints. And these are things that I learned.